Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Beat Your Addiction with your host, John Giordano. I'm your co-host, Scott Jones. I want to thank everybody for joining us once again as we try to bring you more and more information about addictions and about wellness and living right, or living healthier, I guess is a better word. But it's all information that we want to get to you. If you want to know more about John and his mission to help people, you definitely want to check out his website, johnjgiordano.com. That's the initial J in the middle there. johnjgiordano.com. You can find out all about his books, his publications. He's been published in so many journals we lost count at this point, I think, and all the other things that John's done in his life. And of course, you can contact him there. And also, if you like this show, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, click the notification bell, and share this with your friends. Very important that you do that. All right, with that, John, we're back once again. We got another guest.
Yeah, and we got good information for everybody out there.
We're just going to keep that information coming as always. But who we have today, I want to thank him for joining us, is Enrique Aponte, who is he's a lot of things, and we're going to let him get into all that because it's a long story. But let's say that he has really given himself over into being a certified life coach and certified recovery coach, and he's got a great story. And before the show, John and Enrique were speaking with much passion. So this is the beautiful part of being the co-host. I'm going to put my seatbelt on, strap in, and just go along for the ride as you two talk passionately about what you guys love. So, John, take it away.
All right, Enrique, so tell us about what you did.
All right, then. Well, what I do nowadays, after 20 years plus in the service of others when concerning addiction and mental health and everything that comes with that, homelessness. Right now, I concentrate on the coaching approach, which is not counseling, it's not psychotherapy. It's some differences to that. So I have since become a certified professional life coach and recovery coach, and a certified addiction awareness facilitator, most recently, that deals a lot with the workplace. And that's in a nutshell. Because having been doing this as long as I have, and having been in recovery myself, I work with different agencies through the years and different populations, all the way from the grassroots, faith-based and clinical approach. So I got a lot to bring to the table, and that's where I am right now.
Well, the most important part, you're bringing you to the table.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, absolutely.
How long are you in recovery now?
Right now, being totally transparent, it's been just over 10 years. After about 10 years in working, I had a relapse. I don't like to sugarcoat it and call it, a little fall and all that. It was short-lived, and I like to say that my deterioration to the actual wet use, as we say, took good 10 months. But finally, caved in and used. And about 2 days after that, it was an abrupt stop to that, so it didn't last long. And it's a lot to that story. Which actually, not that had to happen, but it was so devastating to me after having been in the business and having, all of that. And that it took some serious bounce back, some serious introspection. And let me put it this way, the old adage of you got to kill your demons. I learned that you cannot only kill them, you have to dissect them and find out what they've been feeding on. Because if you don't learn that, it's just a matter of time again. So, so altogether, it's been about a great quality over 10 years since 2010 was when that happened.
Experiences are what makes a good recovery coach. And when you have the life experiences and you're not just reading from a book, all right, you could, when you speak, you can feel it coming from you, not just your head, coming from your heart. And, as far as I'm concerned, there are no failures. There are only lessons. And so these were your lessons, like I have mine and Scott has his, and, sometimes the lessons, you have to repeat them. Okay. And that's just life. It's called 100 Monkeys. You know, you just keep going until you get it right, you know?
Right.
And that's to me what is what makes a good coach, a good therapist. You know, you have to have those experiences, and you know, not to say people that don't can't contribute, but I believe it's easier to get into rapport with somebody who's addicted when you are been through it.
Yeah.
And that's just my own bias.
Before you guys go too far, I just want to clarify something for people who are watching, both you guys. What differentiates coaching from counseling? What makes that different? Because a lot of people are thinking like coaching is just like counseling, but it's a little different, isn't it, guys?
I don't know. I don't know. He could tell me. I don't know. To me, it's basically we call it. I think you call it coaching because you don't want to say counseling, but actually, you're really not counseling. What is counseling anyway? You know, you're talking to people about what's going on, and you're giving them suggestions.
Okay.
And I don't know. You tell me, Enrique. I don't really know the difference.
Well, I'm glad you asked that question. There are some differences. And one thing I've learned in the evolution of the addiction treatment and recovery is that, and I'm pleased to see that it's not cookie cut or boxing in a person through this regimen as much as it used to be. And coaching in particularly is more autonomous. The individual is has more autonomy into their approach to what they're trying to do. But being more specific, coaching is more action oriented versus counseling, which is coping oriented. That's one way to look at it. Coaches want to help you recognize what you think, versus counseling also want to help you realize how you feel. So I use a lot of emotional.
I think that, you know, I know for myself, they're both synonymous to recovery, you know?
Yeah.
And I guess there's a fine line in between. Listen, whenever you're talking with a person about your life experiences and sharing with them, and, you know, this is what I did, and you may want to consider that, you know, and this is what we found out works, and then you find out what they did or what they didn't do, and then you work with them. It's really called counseling. You could call it coaching. You could call it whatever you want to call it. You know,
Yeah.
The bottom line is one human being sharing their, you know, their strength and, you know, in life with somebody else, and hoping that they connect with rapport with somebody. So the hearts touch, not just the heads.
Yeah, therapists and clinicians and whether a coach or therapist that are supervised more in that kind of environment and all that, they're have to adhere to a bit of a different type of rules and regulations, if you will. Coaching does has that too, but there are some difference. But I am in total agreement with you. Mentoring, sponsoring, coaching, therapy, the whole thing.
Well, listen, the reason why we call it different things is because there's different rules and regulations on those things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is you take away, excuse my expression, all the bullshit. Okay. Yeah. It's one human being helping another human being. Period.
Yeah, great. I'm glad we can go there.
Call it whatever. I don't care what you want to call it.
Right.
You call yourself a sponsor. You can call yourself. Just don't call me late for lunch.
Yeah. What I think it happens also that may cause a bit of difference is, as a coach, I have more freedom to bring my personality into it. And I believe that therapy or psychotherapy and formal counseling is a bit more restricted to do that, and I'll give you an example.
No, you see, let me explain. Yes, for mental health people, they're taught, and personally, my own bias again, they're taught wrong. Okay? Well, don't share your personal information with the client. Right. That's all bullshit, plain English. How are we going to talk about a subject matter if they don't know where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
You see?
And that's what I'm getting at. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're correct, because when you have certified addiction professionals, people that are addicts that went and got a certification or a coaching, whatever, okay, we talk about recovery. We talk about, what I did, what I didn't do, how I got caught, what are you doing? Mental health people read out of a book, most of them. you know, and the good ones talk about what's going on, you know, and a lot of them don't have that life experience.
Right.
And
And
it's unfortunate. And what's happening in the industry is, you know, the mental health people have been trying to take over the substance abuse industry for years. Now they got it. And the problem is most of them don't know about addiction, unfortunately.
yeah,
And, you know, I'm not trying to put anybody down or anything like that, but a lot of them don't know anything about addiction. They know from a book. Okay. Some of them, you know, that doesn't mean they can't help anybody. They can. But I believe that people that have that experience of going through hell and coming back out, and sometimes going back in for a visit, okay, like you did, all right, and coming back out, all right,
yeah.
I think is more powerful than somebody saying, okay, you did this and now you got to do that, and I don't believe it has that impact.
Yeah, and I'm in agreement with that because there's the connection is different. That's what I'm getting at. You know, like, and I'm going to put it this way because this is very interesting topic. For example, I have worked with individuals that comes to a point they ask me, say, "Well, are you in recovery?" Because you know we clean up pretty good, so they're not sure.
Right.
You know, are you in recovery? And I said, "Why do you ask me?" And so their answer usually is, well, because if you don't know what I've been through, you can't help me.
That's exactly what I've heard 1,000 times.
Yeah, exactly. So what I do is I then ask them, I said, well, what are you trying to do? You're trying to live right on life terms. And let's say, for example, do you know how to write a checkbook? He said, well, no, I haven't hardly even held a job. I said, okay, so does somebody that's been writing checks and know how to deal with finances all their life without having been in addiction, can they teach you to do that? Can they help you? They said, well, yeah. I said, okay, so don't limit yourself like that, you know, because what I learned is in that question is kind of tricky. You know, the addict mind is very bright. It's just that we use all that good knowledge for wrong. But, you know, if I say, yes, I am in recovery, it's like, oh, well, you can't help me because you're just like me. And if I said I'm not, it's, oh, you can't help me because you don't know what I've been.
I disagree. That's not necessarily true.
No, I have encountered some cases
you're
like
in
that.
recovery, okay, and for so many years, of course you can help them.
Sure.
All right, they can't even get. I don't know about you. I couldn't even get 10 minutes.
Right.
Clean. You know.
Yeah.
So
No, I agree.
If a person
Yeah.
has a ear clean, they can help you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. This is the point I'm trying to make is that the active addiction mindset is resistant to help or resistant to help when it's not the way they want it. You ever encounter somebody that you want to help, but they want you to help them their way and not the way you
Oh
can
yeah,
bring
no, that's all the time. Addicts do that all the time.
all the time.
I got a simple conversation for them. I said, I'll tell you what. If you're going to get surgery and the surgeon's going to operate, you say, wait a second, let me tell you how to operate. How well would that work for you?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. So that's the mindset. But people that have not have had the experience, sure, any human being can help another human being.
Absolutely. That's what I said. It
when,
doesn't matter.
yeah, when they want to.
You could, you can teach them life skills. You could do, the truth is the truth. It doesn't matter who's carrying it.
Correct. Exactly.
I'm just talking about a little different thing. When you start to get into rapport with somebody and people feel that you really understand what they're going through, not just from a book, because most addicts have low self-esteem.
Yes.
And I remember years ago, now I'm doing this, I'm treating addicts now for about 35 years. I'm in recovery going on 37 years. So I remember when we used to wear suits to work. You had to wear a tie and a shirt to work. Why?
Right.
Because that showed that the counsel, who's the counselor and who's the client. What they found out was that was the worst thing they could do, because if people have low self-esteem, you got one up, you got one down. You want to make it even, not one up, one down.
Exactly.
You want to have rapport with somebody. So they got rid of the suit stuff. Some people still hold on to that nonsense, but you know,
right. Yeah.
Me counselor, you sick person.
Yeah. No, I think is me,
I'm sorry.
Tarzan.
He just went caveman on us for a moment.
No, but truly, the heart of it is meeting people where they are. That's has been my
There you
discovery.
go.
Hey, I don't
Meet them
care
where
if you
they
want to
are.
say coaching counts, I don't care what you want to call it. Meet people where they're at. You know, I give suggestions. I say, look, all they tell me, say, well, I don't know if that's going to work. I said, well, how's your way working? You know,
Right.
real simple stuff. You know, it's
Yeah.
not rocket science, you know. So all I tell people is don't believe a word I tell you. Either go look it up or give it a shot. If it don't work, don't do it.
Yeah, I had a great mentor, and through the years, you might even know who he is, but and he always used to let you blabble for a while, and then he would use just he says, "Well, how's that working for you?"
Right. I
Yeah,
mean, it's
yeah,
simple stuff. I mean, and I don't tell a lot of people that's no good or this. I don't know how's it working for you. If it's working for you, keep doing it, man.
yeah,
I,
yeah,
I would have kept doing drugs if it was working for me.
and no doubt.
Apparently, it
And
didn't
people
work for
ask
me.
me, and that's interesting because people always want to ask, "Well, why do you do that? Why do you get high?" And and here it goes again. The psychotherapist will take you back to your childhood. The counselor will take you back to like how you feel. And me as an individual, not even a coach, the simple question of why I did that is because I liked it.
I hear
Because if
that
I
all
didn't
the time.
like it, I wouldn't do it. Now, the consequences and the out of hand use and the illegalities of some of it, that then you start working and going into the meat of it.
Well,
But what do we do? What do we do? What we do? Because we like it.
right, when they tell me that, I had that the other day again. I hear it all the time. Well, what do you do? Because I like. I said, let me ask you a question. You like hurting your family? Oh, you like being in jail? Oh, you like being here where you are? I says, is that what you like? Oh, no, I don't like that. Well, how do you think you got here?
Yeah, exactly.
The juice
Yeah.
is not worth the squeeze.
Yeah.
As they say.
Yeah, the addict, we like the high. We don't like the consequences. If I could get high without bad consequences, I probably would still be out there. But
But
that's
you know
not
what
the
the funny
reality.
part is? It's not high. Okay, it's low,
Yeah,
and that's the
Yeah.
message you got to get across.
yeah,
Because what's high? Zoning out. I mean, I used to get high. So look at the ceiling. It's like zone out.
yeah.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Right. No, exactly. No, it comes to a point, how they have your experimental season with it and the social use, etc., building all the way up to the addictive part. What it is like everything else being progressive. It comes to a point that it's not enjoyable anymore. And it's misery, it's sheer misery. When I was a teenager without responsibilities and I started, trying things out, yeah, that was fun. I had no responsibilities and et cetera, et cetera. But then as we progress to life, if we don't leave those childish things, if you will, behind, then it begin to cause problems. And there's where people like myself lose their way. It took me until I was 40 years old. I was one of those late bloomers
Well, me
before
too. I was 37 when I got in recovery.
right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was late 30s to my 40s when finally I sought help for the first time. But, talking back into the report development, and here's another example of that. I'm kind of going back a little bit. For example, the veteran populations. Veterans, we have a certain camaraderie because of our experience, so that works the same way in addiction, where an individual is like, wow, you were there and you made it out. So that's empowering for somebody else that wants to change. Yes, and it's possible to make it out of it. And not only that, but what's more possible and greater than all that is that you can be, I call it reasonably happy. I don't promote perfection. You know, I am happy within reason. People
Well,
sometimes
I'm
look at me.
somebody perfect. I want to stop praying to
Yeah, right. Yeah.
him.
How they say there are places that are perfect until I walk in there.
And that's why I wrote one of my books called The Kid from the South Bronx Who Never Gave Up. And
Oh,
Yeah, that's my book. And, you know, I only went to the ninth grade. My father was a heroin dealer. My family's one like a mafia family. My uncle was a hitman. I used to sell drugs. I used to do collection work for the smugglers. You know, when people say, well, you don't understand my family. So I said, tell you what, I'll lend your mind for a while. Let me know how you do. You know, my uncle threw me a wedding when I was 20, and then the caterer insulted him and he killed him. So, you know, if you want to talk about life and life's terms,
Yeah.
all right? So that's why I wrote the book, and I showed them that no matter what you do in life, you can be successful. I went back to school when I got into recovery. And another issue is I didn't get in recovery because I thought I had a problem. Everybody else had the problem. I didn't have a problem, but they did an intervention on me and put me into treatment.
Right.
See, and I only went in to get everybody off my back. I didn't get.
Right.
I didn't go there to stop. I
Exactly.
didn't even know what they were talking about. When they told me in group to share, I said, "I'll have to kill you."
Yeah, right.
You know, and then my life turned. Here I am. I write books. I lecture all over the world. You know, and I always say this is that, you know, I turned $300 into 45 million when we sold my treatment center, which is like absurd. I still don't believe it. You know, my partners and I, and my journey through life is just to help people.
Yeah.
You know, as best I can. You know, and go from there.
Yeah. I found my best way, my best life after all this wreckage by far. But that's interesting. I wanted to mention that I was born in the South Bronx myself.
Me too. Where in the South Bronx were you born?
I was born in the All Lincoln Hospital that burnt afterwards. You know.
But where did you live in the South Bronx?
Well, my family lived in the Prospect Avenue, close to Third Avenue, Westchester and Jackson. You know, projects. You know.
Yeah, you were in the projects too. I was from. You know what Fort Apache is?
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course. That's where I lived.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
worst neighborhood in the United States. They had it in Time magazine.
Right, right. Yeah, but I lived in.
So
Yeah, I
nobody
come
knew
from.
what it was.
I hear you. I come from Puerto Rican parents, so I grew up in the island
Oh,
and
you're Puerto
always went
Rican.
back and forth.
Well, okay,
Huh?
cool. You're a Puerto Rican, huh?
Yeah.
Puerto Rican. Cool.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, like what I'm saying is, you know, I grew up on both sides and I went into the military right out of high school. I was signed up on a delay entry program, you know, so jumped out of high school and went right in and did almost 10 years, you know, and again, you know, this is always a story within a story. And in all of that, there were, you know, abuse of substances, and especially in the military as an infantryman and a paratrooper and all that. They make you think you can run through walls, and then when you do that,
they help you to run through the walls. That's right.
yeah, when you do that and you get hurt, then they give you pills.
To go down. By the time you're done, you don't even know where you are anymore.
Tell me about it.
There's no pill for the middle, is there?
No pill for
No pill for the middle. Guys, I hate to do this because we're running up against time now, but I wanted to bring up one point that we could kind of finish on. I think it's very important. Both of you brought it up in a certain sense, which is about the hands-on approach to helping people. And I think, Enrique, you said it best when you said you have to meet them where they're at.
You have to.
I think we've become a society where we have people who are standing on top of the mountain of recovery, yelling down to the sick people saying, if you want it, you come to me. And people don't know how to climb. They don't know how to get there. And
it's a slippery slope.
It's a slippery slope. You need help.
And
I think our role as educators and helpers and treatment and coaches should be to go down and meet them where they're at, take them by the hand and journey with them. Because how else are they going to learn? But do you agree that we've become very shortcut? We've become very, if you want help, you'll come to me. No. I mean, do you see where that's a problem, guys?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, addicts are not going to come to you. They'll come to you if you're selling them drugs.
Right.
Right. Yeah. I work in what some of us call the trenches for a long time. So right now, I just turned 63 and I'm telling on myself, but I'm working with a population that's a little bit more functional, that has done an episode of treatment or, and on the other side of being walking recovery and encounter a snag or feel stuck and want to go to that next level. So that's a lot of what I'm doing now. For a long time, I worked in guys coming in, to detox and everything that comes with that. I don't want to get graphic, but still, even then or now,
I work in the detox now. I know all
yeah,
about that.
you know the deal. So coming out of incarceration, have been real angry, but either way it goes, it still comes down to let's meet as one human to the other. Of course, there's got to be boundaries. Of course, there's got to be, certain, for the sake of the individual, even not so much for me, but as we go. But nothing heals like relationship. That's the deal.
It's all about rapport.
Yes.
All about
If you
rapport.
don't have rapport, I don't care what information you're giving anybody, it's going to go by them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Especially,
It's all about, listen,
Yeah.
us addicts, we know we're looking for the hair in the soup, I call it, okay? We're looking for the guy to be full of shit. See,
No
so
doubt.
that we're studying you as you're talking to me. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
when they could feel you're talking from your heart, not just from your head, all right, it makes a whole big difference.
Yeah.
If you want to help somebody, whatever you
Yeah.
want to call yourself,
Which is,
Uh,
that's another thing. I love coaching because once I, sort of like pop something that the individual goes to talking, let the person talk. Let the person, get to know them. They don't have to get to know you. Let them talk. An individual that is feel like is being shunned from society for wrongdoings or what have you, wants to feel accepted. Let them talk. I don't have to do all the talking. As a matter of fact, if anything, I ask a lot of provoking questions to get the person to think and to examine themselves and to create that awareness. One of the worst thing, and that's another thing that a lot of individuals in this field do is it's all about them, and it's not about me. It's about you. So talk, tell me.
See,
And then
once you make that rapport with them, okay, and you get that bond, and then you just like talking like we're talking right now, two guys
that's it.
talking about life,
Yeah.
not me telling you how to live your life. Well,
Yeah.
let's talking about, hey, where you coming from? What's going on with you? This went on
Yeah.
with me, and we
Yeah.
just talk about so you can get a rapport with somebody.
Absolutely. Like you're going through this problem right now, relational, financial, medical, what have you. Well, you know what? I went through that. This is how I did it. Or I know somebody that had the same problem. This is how they did it. How did that fit you? What do you need to be able to accomplish that? And where do we go to ask for help? Where do we, that's what I'm get down to when it's all said and done. Sure, I got the certifications because you need some kind of credibility, sometimes. So you guys do that. You gotta do addiction education.
They don't give us street diplomas.
I'm sorry,
We don't get street diplomas.
street diplomas. No. Well, actually,
Wait.
I
gotta start an
Wait.
organization. Street
no,
diploma.
you do.
Forget
You
about
do.
coach. Call it street diploma. That's what you
Yeah.
If you got a street diploma, would that make you a Rhodes Scholar?
Yes.
Hey, listen, not for nothing, but the street diploma that I have, unfortunately, I have to go and pay for the pages at the courthouse, but they
Right.
keep the diploma
Here you go. You're certified now.
certified, right? Oh my gosh, it's great
I
to be
hate-
able to joke
I
about
hate
that.
to do this, but we've come up against the clock. We've got to wrap things up on this edition of Beat Your Addiction. Knowing John's heart for the last, I don't know how many years I've known John and Enrique, you seem to have a very similar effect on people in the way you treat them. So it's really good to hear two gentlemen like you guys talking about this stuff. We need much more hands-on. We need much
keep
more
doing God's
rapport.
work, Enrique.
Keep doing it, brother. You're doing a great thing.
Thank you guys. We can talk all day. We should probably do this
Absolutely.
again if possible.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
But
anything I can do.
people got to eat, so we got to let them go. So,
Yeah.
but Enrique Aponte, once again, his information is on the screen. You can get in touch with him. We want to thank you for your time and all that you do. And John, that brings us to the end of another show where we're talking about addiction and everything else, and we're going to keep bringing this to people. This is your heart to bring this up to people, isn't it?
When we can save one person, we
Yeah.
did a hell of a job.
That's
That's
all.
it. Yeah.
That's all.
Because not only you save one person, that relates to the whole family you help,
That's right.
That's right.
not just the one person.
Everybody's
That's right.
important. Everybody's somebody's mother, father, brother, sister, husband,
That's
wife,
right.
son, or daughter. Everybody's important.
Everyone.
Everyone. All right. So
Employee
with
and
that, I want
everybody.
to thank you guys for joining us. Once again, remind you that if you like this show, please subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, and of course, please share this with your friends. Let them know what we're doing. If you need more information about John and his mission to help people, please go to johnjgiordano.com and check out all the good work he's
That's
doing.
the letter J.
The letter J, like the initial. johnjgiordano.com. Check out all the work that he's doing, and also you can get his books through the website, or go directly on Amazon, and his books are available there as well. John,
All right, Scott.
another good show.
Another good show.
Thank you, my friend.
Enrique.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me, guys.
All right, man.
We'll catch you next time right here on Beat Your Addiction.
All right.
Bye.